you clicked on this video, then you have probably heard the word aesthetic. You have definitely seen it all over TikTok about, clean girl, coquette girl, pink Pilates princess, fairy core even. So what is an aesthetic? I have made this video all about aesthetics and what an aesthetic is, and hopefully it helps you guys find your own perfect aesthetic. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the video, and hopefully this helps you to romanticize your life. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Rosie Hodges. This video is about aesthetics and what an aesthetic is and how you can find your own aesthetic and how you can romanticize your life with your own aesthetic. So yeah. So if you have ever felt like you feel out of place in your life, like you're not able to romanticize your life, finding an aesthetic can really help with that problem. I know from personal experience. What does the word aesthetic mean? Like, where does that come from? When I first heard of the word aesthetic, I was scrolling on TikTok and it was like, I think it was like the emo girl, or like what was that? The e-girl aesthetic. That's what it was. That was the first aesthetic I had ever heard of, and I was like, why are we like labeling people's like tastes? And it was because it was like a trend, and everyone was like, oh, I love this, let me hop on this and become an e-girl, even if they like weren't an e-girl. You know what I mean? Like, so the meaning of aesthetic can reflect the study of beauty, art, and taste, or it can refer to a style or taste that is adopted by a person. So that's what it means. In more simpler terms, it's just your own personal taste and what you like, and there's like a huge genre like circulating all over social media, and I just kind of wanted to go over them because I think they're really fun, and I always liked like making little Pinterest boards for my friends based off what I saw their aesthetic as, and I didn't even know that like that's what I was doing was that. I really like doing that, and I thought this would be a really cool like idea to talk to you guys about. So yeah, hopefully this helps, because when I started doing this, I realized like, oh, like I see myself a certain way and I don't embody that in real life. So this might help you and clue you in before I list off aesthetics to even help you even further, but I'm gonna start with this. If you have a Pinterest board and it's like, I don't know, named things that I like or things that I find pretty, that's your aesthetic right there. I had a board and it was called Pretty Things, and it was things that I found really pretty and like things that I liked and would wear or have as home decor or just like hobbies that I had. Just real quick, guys. I'm not making this video to like say that everyone has to have an aesthetic. Everyone's different in their own way. Everyone likes different things. You don't have to have one certain aesthetic that I list off to be your aesthetic. You can mix and match. You don't have to be on the list. You don't even have to have an aesthetic. You can one day be completely different from the next, like Barbie-core, and the next day you could be grunge-core. Like, do whatever makes you happy. So I'm just gonna say that I also have circulated through the years through different aesthetics. So I was clean girl for about 2 years, and I was like, I'm gonna be this aesthetic, but that didn't like actually make me really happy. And then I finally realized that, like I said on Pinterest, I was like, I had this one board and I kept adding pink girly pretty things to it, and I was like, actually this makes me super happy. And it didn't necessarily have to be pink, it just had to bring me like joy, like had to be girly and feminine. Like I really like coquette, I love red coquette, I love pink coquette, and I really like cottage core. So all those things, those three things that I really feel like are my aesthetic personally, and there's not really a name for it, so I just tell people that I'm coquette because it kind of matches. So yeah, that's my aesthetic, and that has really helped me to save money, because when I go shopping, I'm like specifically looking for things that I really like, and it was really frustrating at first because I couldn't find anything that was like pink or had rosettes on it, and now everyone's selling it. So that makes me really happy that this aesthetic has a name, and like people have picked up on it, and that they actually sell clothing now that I really like. So also, this also helps. Things that you liked when you were little can also clue in to what your aesthetic is now, because when I was little, I was obsessed with girly things. I loved Disney princesses, I loved Hello Kitty, I loved strawberry shortcake, I love strawberry shortcake. That kind of is where I think the cottage core part of me comes from, is strawberry shortcake. So yeah, I used to watch that like every Saturday morning. So I hope that helps clue you into what your aesthetic is, and I hope it brings you joy. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and list off the aesthetics. Maybe, hopefully it gives you some idea or a clue to what your aesthetic is. If I say it and you're like, oh, I kind of resonate with that, then like, I would embrace it and go for it. So yeah. This is the first aesthetic, and it's going to be my aesthetic. Coquette, obviously. Here's some like images to help you visualize what I mean by coquette. So it is really, really feminine, pink. It's like hyper-feminism, if you will. And then like red coquette is really, really cute. It gives off Lana Del Rey vibes. There's like a whole bunch of just different variations that like you can find on TikTok of coquette and like find your own like version of it. But yeah, I just really like this aesthetic. So dark academia is next, and light academia. They go hand in hand. Light academia is more like a preppy vibe, kind of gives off like Jane Austen and like, you know, like, I don't know what print this is, but like whenever I think of light academia, I think that they always have like mugs or a tea set even that has this print. Like they're really into that. It's like cottagecore almost, like England. Kind of gives off like Peter Pan and Wendy. Like this is what I think of when I think of light academia. So if you really like stuff like this, then that might be your aesthetic, and like maybe embrace it, like try it out, you know. Dark academia is the same thing, like very like preppy looking, very nice suits, darker clothing, like reds and emerald greens, like emerald like shades, emerald color palette. Oh my gosh, I'm not very good with English, guys, so bear with me. I shouldn't be qualified to do this video, but I'm kind of doing it anyway because I really, really like stuff like that. So yeah. So mermaid core. Let's go ahead and dive into this one. Just kidding, guys. So like, there's some reference photos. It's obviously mermaid, shiny, pearl, iridescent, a little mysterious, mystique kind of. And if you really, really like being by the ocean and you like lighthouses, and I tend to see grandmothers having this aesthetic, but I think it's really cute. It's just not, it doesn't really have to be mermaid core. It's just like when you like the deeper ocean aesthetic. You know, like I don't know how many people have this in their house, but I always see like, and even my grandma has this, or my husband's grandma has this. Like she has like a lighthouse and then like a net and then an anchor as decor like in her house. So if you really like stuff like that, then I would say embrace mermaid core, go for it, and maybe it might bring you a little bit of romanticization to your day and make you happy. Coconut girl. I really like this aesthetic. I would say that in the summer I am more of this aesthetic, and I think it's so cute. So like if you like these are some reference photos, so like a clue to this is like if you really liked the Malibu Hello Kitty, Malibu Barbie, if you really liked the Barbie movies, and being by the beach. So this is like Mamma Mia core or coastal granddaughter. That's what the aesthetic is called. I like don't know why it's called this, but if you are really obsessed with the movie Mamma Mia and you like everything about it, the music, you like ABBA, you like wearing really like reference photos is this, like this is what like you would wear. I even have a dress like this. Like I kind of a little bit like this because I really like Mamma Mia. I mean, I got a haircut like the singers from ABBA. So if this resonates with you, then maybe try this aesthetic out and see if it like brings joy and romanticization to your life. So cottagecore is next. This has to be like, it's one of my aesthetics, I would say. Like it's in a mix of my, like these are some reference photos. If you like really like gardening and you really like plants and you really like baking and wearing like cute little sundresses and like doing really homey things, you know, and you really like the homey aesthetic like this, like old-fashioned kind of like farmhouse. If this brings you happiness, it brings me happiness, try it out and I promise you will be happy. Well, I can't guarantee someone happiness, but I can guarantee that it probably would bring a smile to your face. So yeah, try it out. So this is the Downtown Girl aesthetic. I call it the Rory Gilmore aesthetic. So if you really like Gilmore Girls and you really like wearing leather jackets and you're really into books and you're just like kind of like keep to yourself but like you really, really like coffee and you like the aesthetic of like going out and like studying at a library, or like, I don't know, this like an aesthetic just isn't about clothing, guys, and like this clothing is very hard to explain. Like it's just basic clothing, like t-shirts, mom jeans, sneakers. They tend to choose Converse over other shoes. they like guitar, or the guitar guy, like their boyfriend either plays guitar, they play guitar. So like, this is not the best description of this aesthetic, but hey, I don't know. I just was basically describing Rory Gilmore, but like if you want to be like Rory Gilmore and that would bring you happiness, yeah, just don't have as many boyfriends as she had. Like, don't be like that, okay? If you like this aesthetic, that's fine. Just don't do what she did. Pink Pilates Princess, reference photos. Here are some YouTubers. Like, if you're really into this stuff, these YouTubers are like, they have this aesthetic down to a T. It is beautiful. I love them for it. But yeah, like, if you really like wearing pink workout clothes and just wearing pink in general, and you go to the gym all the time and you're really healthy and you're like a boss woman and you got everything done and like you look put together all the time, I would say that try this aesthetic out, and it will probably bring you a lot of joy and happiness. The clean girl aesthetic. This is like the most controversial aesthetic, I think, because like this was like one of the first ones to like actually, like, I think people started making YouTube videos about how to become a clean girl, how to become that girl. So it is the that girl aesthetic, I would say, like the OG. But yeah, it's basically like the girl that has everything together and she always wears boring clothing.
I think this is boring. I mean, it looks professional. Sorry if you guys like that. If you guys like that type of thing and it makes you happy, go for it. Like, don't let me rain in a parade. Like, don't care what I say. Even though I'm making this YouTube video to make you care about what I say, but don't care what my opinion if I don't like something, okay? I just personally,
I wanted to be like this, and it kind of didn't really make me happy. Like, I kind of felt like I was wearing black and gray all the time, and that just wasn't me. Like, it didn't make me feel put together. Like, the whole point of this is to make you feel good and feel put together. I personally didn't feel put together. I still embody the habits, though. She wakes up early, she does her journaling, she plans out her day, she eats healthy, so like, those are really good things. So I also do those things. If this resonates with you, then try it out. So preppy is also another aesthetic. This is what preppy is today, and this is what preppy is, or was, in the 80s. So if you like either of those things, then try them out and see if they can help you romanticize your life better. So this is a newer aesthetic. It's called the old money aesthetic, and it's basically when people like just reference photos. And my sister really likes this aesthetic. She tries to dress like this, even though she's not like rich. I'm not rich either, so, but like she just really likes it, so she goes for it. So it's like they wear a lot of Ralph Lauren, but I don't have money for Ralph Lauren, so she wears a lot of navy blues, a lot of cream colored things, a lot of nice clothing that she invests in, and I think it's like really smart, and I really like it. So if this brings you joy and happiness, maybe try it out. This is the last aesthetic that I'm gonna talk about. It's fairy core. So like, to clue you in, like, I really like fairies. I really like girly things, so it's kind of like me, I don't know. And I feel like a lot of people see this differently, especially if like, this is the two versions that I see. If you like the Barbie fairy movies, then you see this way. But if you like the Disney fairy movies, then you see it this way. So yeah, it could be either two ways, but like the whole point of this aesthetic that I see is like, it's like a lot of like sparkle, iridescent, green, kind of cottagecore, but not quite, more whimsical. That's how I view this. So if you really like this aesthetic, or like you like these reference photos, maybe try this aesthetic out and see if it fits you. Now let me talk about starting a new aesthetic. It can be a little expensive, and it can make you feel like kind of frustrated because you're like, I don't want to spend all this money on like my new aesthetic. Like, all my clothes don't match what I actually like. Like, if you find an aesthetic and you like it, but then nothing that you have fits it, like, it can be really frustrating, and it's something that I had to deal with like at first. It was kind of sad. So I've had a lot of events happen in my life that made me see things differently and change my perspective of life. So obviously when something like that happens, sometimes your personality changes, or the things that you like change, and your dislikes change. After I had my daughter, something like clicked inside me, and I was like, wait, like, I'm a mom, so I can kind of do whatever I want. I had like way more confidence, and I felt like because I had a baby, like, I felt like I accomplished something, which I definitely did. Not like, it's a big responsibility and commitment to have a child, but it just gave me a lot of confidence. And like, something like that, an event, it doesn't have to be like an accomplishment. Like, anything and change your perspective on life. And that just made me embrace myself more, like have more confidence in who I was, because it was like I felt more accepted of myself, which is like a blessing, because sometimes women who have babies don't feel that way. But that's why I started embracing the color pink. And when I was younger, I was bullied for liking the color pink. I was bullied for liking Disney princesses. I was bullied for liking and loving the things that I actually loved. So I was like, I actually don't like those things. And when I was younger, and I just kind of stuck with it. Like I was like, I don't really like the color pink. Which isn't true. I felt the most pretty when I wear pink. So I'm so blessed and so glad that like having a baby changed my perspective on what I liked and my confidence, and it changed it so that I would like and embrace myself even more. Don't wait for a moment like that, just do it now. You know, like don't wait for something in your life to happen to let you romanticize your life. Just do it now. So my advice to you is to find the aesthetic, but nothing that you have in your house like symbolizes the aesthetic or like brings you joy. Get rid of it, okay, and replace it and go thrifting. Thrifting is such a great way, especially if you really like vintage things, like if your aesthetic is like academia, coquette, like there's so many things at the thrift store that like are coquette and are like light academia or dark academia and even cottagecore. So I would go thrifting and clothing too. Invest in some like pieces, like a lot of my clothing is pink, so it's really easy for me to match things with pink. So like I invest in a couple solid pink pieces, and then I go and from time to time buy things that I see that I'm like, oh, I like that, and I can afford to get this that match this, so that I constantly look put together. So if you go shopping, think about what you already have and then buy something to match that. So yeah, that's my advice to you. And if you don't have money and you really like the aesthetic, start like maybe ask for some things for Christmas that match the aesthetic. Maybe for your birthday, like if you get birthday money from your relatives or your family, like you could use that as a birthday gift. And if you have no way to buy clothing or buy home decor or stuff to match your aesthetic, that is totally okay. When I was younger, I had like no money for that, like period. I for Christmas wanted toys, or I did get clothing, but it was very limited because I have a lot of siblings, so our budget was really small. My advice to you is watch the movies that you really, really like, that match your aesthetic, that bring you joy. Do a craft that has something to do with the movie or the thing that you like or the aesthetic that you like. Just start making things that have to do with it. Like, an aesthetic doesn't have to be home decor or clothing. It can really be anything. And like, even I now, when I draw things, because I do art, when I do art that matches my aesthetic, it brings me joy. Like, I painted this, and I really like Disney princesses. So that, like, I painted that in like 2 days. And when I do something that doesn't match my aesthetic, it takes me like a month because I don't want to do it. It doesn't bring me joy. But like this, 2 days, guys. I hope this was helpful, and you really can do anything to romanticize your life and the way that you want to romanticize it. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. Sorry I like talk for forever in a day, but yeah. I have like a frog in my throat. I had a cold, and this was the aftermath of it, so sorry for my voice, guys. But anyways, if you watched to the end, thank you so much. It is so helpful for me. I am a new YouTuber, and I mess up all the time, so forgive me if I like misedit something. But anyways, comment this emoji down below if you watched all the way through, because it, like, I don't know, it's kind of cool to like see who the real ones are. Sorry guys. And yeah, if this was helpful, let me know. I'll see you guys in my next video. God bless.